All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Omar Kashad. I'm one of the adult services librarians here at the Carroll Stream Public Library. And in fact, my title is Adult Services Librarian with a business and career focus is part of that. And what does that mean? Well, it means that if anyone's scheduling business programming here at the library or else doing different presentations, it's either I'm presenting on them or else I'm finding outside presenters to present on the topic. Some exciting presentations I'll be doing, excuse me, in the next few months are going to be, let's see, I'm going to talk a little bit about some, collaborative tools, Google Documents, although that's how to use Google Docs, although that's probably more for job seekers. I do job seeking and business programs, but I'm also going to be doing a program in a few months about cybersecurity for your small business. Just some small general tips about, keeping safe online and making sure and what to do if in the event that your company's website or et cetera is hacked. So just some general tips in that regard. But today's presentation is specifically on library resources for businesses, and I am actually going to stop my video. That way it's going to be a little bit easier to see. But like I said, just some exciting business programs are coming up. Also, if you're unaware, starting actually next month in March, we're going to be having a co-working space at the library on Monday mornings from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And what that means is in the mornings on Mondays, we'll have our Create and Learn Center, which is a giant glass-walled room open for anyone who's a small business owner or someone who's working remotely from home. They can come into the library and use our space. We'll just have tables available with chairs. You can take a phone call in there. You can use your laptop if you want to use our internet, and it's a shared space, so there may be other people in there with you, but it's called a co-working space is what it's technically called, and I'm really excited to get that off the ground. Some libraries around us do similar stuff. For example, the Naperville Public Library does it. And like I said, it'll just be on Monday mornings, every Monday from 9 to 12:30, and it's something I'm excited about, and it'll become called the Monday morning co-working commons is what we're calling it. So again, that'll just be at the library. It's a place where if you're working from home or if you're a small business owner, you want to work in a new space, I will encourage you to come in and use the library. All right, well, I'm going to stop my video and start talking about today's topic, which is library resources for businesses. And these are a couple direct links to them, but I'll show you how to access our business resource web pages, websites in just a moment. But anyway, moving on, and hopefully this will kick over. All right, moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about the basics. So what are the basics? Well, first of all, why are we here? Well, we're here because we're hoping to learn a little bit about competitive intelligence. But what is competitive intelligence? Well, this explanation is a little bit long, but I still want to cover all of the ins and outs of it. Well, competitive intelligence, which is sometimes referred to as corporate intelligence, refers to the ability to gather, analyze, and use information collected on competitors, customers, and other market factors that contribute to a business's competitive advantage. Competitive intelligence is important because it helps businesses understand their competitive environment and the opportunities and challenges it presents. Businesses analyze the information that they get through competitive intelligence to create effective and efficient business practices, or also business opportunities, I would argue, although that was not in the description, which I got off of Investopedia. We're here because we're going to learn about library resources that will help contribute to competitive intelligence, that will allow you to either learn more about how to do maybe things you do already on your job, or will also help your business, if you have your own business, find learn about market environments, but also learn about ways of finding customers, whether those customers are other businesses, individuals, or just again ways of generating leads is what it is. So, we're here to learn about competitive intelligence because what your competitor may not know, and the resources that we provide access to, maybe your competitor, or if you have a competitor, or even if you don't, you have access to resources in the library as part of the, if your business is in Carroll Stream, that I think are really one of the most, speaking of competitive, I mean, the amount of business resources that we have here at the library are some of the best, I would argue, in this area. Also, my AI chat has disappeared, or not my chat, my captions have disappeared. Hopefully, we're all still with us. Oh, there it goes again. Okay, so this is just a screenshot of our existing businesses resources page, which is, it's a little cut and dry with different topics and different descriptions. But what I'm really proud about is that this year I was able to launch a new business resources page that is a lot. And again, I'll show how to get to this in just a moment. That's a lot more user friendly, a lot more visually appealing, and really is just a really good space to learn about different aspects of your business and ways that library resources can contribute towards that. Now, why you want to use the library resources is because there's something called the digital iceberg. What that means is that search engines, as much as we love Google and we love Yahoo and we use different search engines to search the internet, even if we're aware we're using them or if we're not aware that we're using them, those are really the tip of the digital iceberg. The stuff that you can find through Google and Yahoo is really the top of the iceberg. It's only some of what you can see that's available online. There's a lot of digital information that either cannot be found by search engines or is hiding behind paywalls, where you've probably seen this, where you're like, oh, I wanted to read that, but I can't because it's asking me for money in order to access it. Because search engines can only search what's publicly available. The resources I'm going to show you today are not available to just anybody. They're available to you. And I'll show you, even if you don't live in Carroll Stream, but your business is in Carroll Stream, it's possible to get a library card with us. So really, that's the key to get in, is a Carroll Stream library card. Now, if you live in Carroll Stream, then don't worry about, you don't need to get a business account. But if you don't live in Carroll Stream, but your business is in Carroll Stream, then you can get a business account through the library. Now, if you don't live in Carroll Stream and your business is not in Carroll Stream, well, I would still encourage you to listen to this presentation, only because there are some resources, not all of them, but there are some resources that I'm going to describe to you today that chances are I would check with your own home library. Who is your library? They may have similar resources. Otherwise, if that doesn't work, you can always come into the building. There's not all of these resources, but the majority of what resources I'm going to show you today, you can access them inside the library without the need for a library card. But if you want to access these resources, which are available digitally 24/7 wherever you have an internet connection, you would need the library card in order to do that. But anyway, like it says, if your business is located in Carroll Stream, you are eligible to open a free, no charge, Carroll Stream business account, which comes with a library card. You just need to find some way of proving that you are the owner of your business. It could even, I believe, a business card could work, but just or a bill or a tax bill or just something along with a photo ID, proving that your business is in Carroll Stream and that you own it. Like I said, most of what I'm going to show you today can be accessed within the library without the need for the card. But again, to access them from home or work, you'll need to have your library card, not just your library card number, but your PIN number. Your PIN number is usually set when you get the library card. Otherwise, there are some defaults for it, which I'm not going to cover in this presentation only because it's being recorded. But if you ever forget your PIN, please contact us. We can reset your PIN. Be sure to type in, though, if when you type in your library card number, there are spaces on the back of the card, but there are not supposed to be any spaces when you type in the number. It's just one long number. Now, when you actually access these digital services with your library card, you can then create a free individual account through most of them, and that will allow you to save searches, save documents, all sorts of things. Now, how do I access the library's databases? Well, again, I'm going to show this live in just a moment, but you can go to cslibrary.org and you can hover your mouse over where it says Learn, and then you can select All Topics, which is one way of doing it. This is the old page, and you can cycle through the categories and click Business and Company Information, or I'll select All Topics, and I'm going to show you how this works in practice, or I'll select All Topics, which you'll find on that page, and then Business and Company Information. Alternatively, you can type into your browser either cslibrary.org/business or cslibrary.org/business resources. In fact, it's actually carrollstream.org/business, but also there's another one which I won't go into. But anyway, yeah, those two are the main ones. Well, like I said, this is our new Carroll Stream Business Resources page, which I'm particularly proud of. I actually coded all of this myself, which is why I'm proud of it. But we've broken up our business resources into different topics that will help you more closely hone down on what it is that you're looking for. And again, I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So I'm going to stop my share of the presentation. And I'm going to minimize this. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to then show our website. So that will be my next share. So this is our library's website, which hopefully you can see. Okay. Oh, maybe you can see it now. Okay. So like I said, there's multiple ways to get to these resources, but I'm going to show you two different ways. One is, as I said earlier, if you click Learn, you can go down here to where it says Business Resources, which is one way of accessing this resource. You can click on that. And again, this looks very similar to the page that I had just mentioned. Alternatively, what you can do is you can go up here to, again, Learn, and then here's what I was saying, the little multiple clicks is this Learn, All Topics, and then if you scroll down this page a little bit, we're going to see Business and Company Information. And again, this is just sort of what I said earlier. This is just text and some descriptions, some links to external websites, but this is one way of doing it. Otherwise, as I said, you can click this topics list instead, and then click business and company information. And then again, you've got it broken up by even more categories, but you just click on any of these bars a couple times and you'll also see these resources. Otherwise, you can also, if you know what resources are the names that you really like, under, at least if you're going to the all topics page, you can also click this alpha list here on the right, and then you can navigate to these different resources by name. But like I said, that's sort of the older way of doing it. I'm glad I was able to, again, update this to look more visually appealing and more useful. But again, you can go to Learn, and then like I said, Business Resources, or you can even scroll down the page to where it says Info For. And again, we've got this Businesses link, which is right here. So this is our Businesses Resources page. Just to show some general navigation, of course, this is the main page here on the left, but here on the right here, we've got Ask a Librarian, where you could use our chat to send us a question if you want to. Not so much like, hey, can you research this for me? But if you say, hey, how do I access like this particular resource? Like usually we get asked for consumer reports, comes up a lot. You can chat in here, or you can chat about not even stuff even business related. You can chat about, hey, I forgot my pen, or things like that. Some additional resources is you can even book a librarian for a business appointment, where basically I can then meet with you, whether virtually or here at the library, and again, discuss these resources as well with you. Probably more tailored to what it is that you're looking for, if you know what it is that you're looking for. I also have access to some online resources. For example, the Carroll Stream Chamber of Commerce website is here. The Carroll Stream Economic Development website is here. The Illinois Small Business Development Center, which is out of the College of DuPage, is here. These are some really good resources if you're an entrepreneur. Naper Launch Academy is actually a multi-week business course or class, however you want to put it, which is done at Naperville Public Library, but it is open to everyone. You do have to register, of course, but they cover a lot of topics as well on launching your business and getting it and growing your business. They'll offer that to really anybody. I know some people in Carroll Stream who've gone down there and worked with them. And then finally, I'm linking out to WorkNet DuPage, only because they're more for job seekers, admittedly. But if your business is hiring, you can always send WorkNet a list of, hey, here's positions that we're looking for. WorkNet will also do like career fairs and stuff like that. They're either about to do or just did a job fair at the Wheaton Public Library. So they do job fairs as well. That's, again, if your business is looking to recruit talent. And again, WorkNet works with everybody. They don't just work with like line level job seekers. I believe they also work with executives as well, to my understanding. But anyway, like I said, but going on to the meat of our business resources, the Carroll Stream Public Library, offer a variety of resources to help you, learn about our online resources, information, advice on the latest business trends. Again, if you need a one-on-one appointment, by all means, book a librarian through the link here or here. But we're going to look at some of the resources we have to offer to get started on boosting your business today. I've broken this up by subject or by topic, I think, which works a little bit better if you know sort of like an idea of what it is you're trying to do. Are you trying to start a business? Again, are you looking for more of that competitive intelligence edge, which really everything we're doing here is competitive intelligence, but these are some more focused topics in that area. Maybe you're interested in professional development. That just means like building your workplace skills, not just technology, but also like maybe like how to become a better salesperson, how to do better marketing, how to be a better boss, things along those lines. That would be covered under professional development. And we also have, when I say legal resources, that means legal websites, again, that will help you if you run into any legal issues with your business. Like, you got to hire or fire somebody, you're trying to turn your company into like an LLC, or are you an S corp or a C corp, stuff that even I don't know all that well. But like I said, these are our 4 topics. And we're just going to click on the first one, starting a business. Okay. So yeah, so this is our starting a business page. So as we scroll down, of course, we have our fun little stock image here, but moving down, we've got our business resources that are starting a business focused, all by alphabetical letter. You can click some of these letters and they'll jump you down to the resource in question. In which case, we've got a variety here, but the one I'm going to start with is actually down here at the bottom, which is the Small Business Reference Center. The Small Business Reference Center is really a good place to get started. If you have a small business, or you're thinking about starting one, for example, this has a variety of information on a variety of topics, but also information on, but also a lot of good access to trade journals, journals that will help you learn more about the different topics that you're working on. Now, I skipped a step here because I'm inside the library. When you clicked any of those links that I just showed you, if you click this Small Business Reference Center link, which is right here, when you click that, before you get, if you're at home, not if you're in the library, if you're at home or at work, when you click this, at this point, it's going to ask you for your Carroll Stream Public Library, Carroll Stream library card and your PIN number. Again, we don't see that here because I'm in the library, so it already knows that I'm here. But if I was at home, again, I have to put in my library card and my PIN number to then get access to this resource. At which point, again, you could, I'm got to figure out where it is. I think it's here under My EBSCO. If you click My EBSCO, this is where you don't have to do this, but you could create your own EBSCO account through this particular resource. And then any product that says My EBSCO, you could just have one login across the different resources, because a lot of resources I'm going to show you today are powered by a company called EBSCO. But again, you've got benefits here. You can download ebooks, save your research, sync to the mobile app, by creating a free account, which again, you don't have to do, but I'm just saying it's there if you wanted to. So what's nice about this page, though, is, they've got some startup information here, especially if you're looking to start your business. When you click on that, you're taken to the Small Business Reference Center Small Business Startup Guides, which are really nice. When you click this PDF, hopefully this will launch. Okay, good. It's launching in browser. If this launched somewhere else, it wouldn't work as well. But when you click on this, what's nice is that they have relevant links to different state websites that will help you if you're looking to start your business or incorporate or what have you, not just for our state of Illinois, but other states as well. Maybe you want to incorporate in a different state for whatever reason or things along those lines. But if you just click this Illinois link, it should take us out to Illinois, which is part of the Illinois Small Business Startup Guide, which is really nice. They changed this a little bit. Originally, this linked to outside websites, but I'm just going to click this. And this is really nice because this is a small business startup guide specific to Illinois. Um, there's an overview, small business resources, talks a little bit some quick facts about this sort of thing. If EBSCO's watching this, I'm not going to show every document, but just to demonstrate, what's here. It talks about, and this is even up to date, very current. I mean, within the past 2 years, this information is here, which is, again, knowing how things change so much. This, I think, is really good that this is so updated. It talks about how many residents are in Illinois. It talks about the median household income, how important small businesses are. Gives you some quick facts as well, about, Illinois business facts. As we can see here, and this is true for entrepreneurship in general, most businesses are small startups, and small solo and entrepreneurs are really a big part of the driving the economic development, as well as the number of businesses that you see available. And again, there's more here, which I won't go into. They link out to like this small business association website, some other things as well. Here's some links to, as I said earlier, when they link out to like the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. There's just more here. I'm not going to cover all this, but I'm just saying that it's really nice that they have the small business startup guide specific to Illinois. Going back to where we were. In addition to that, going back to topics, my website that I just showed you that I built was based on topics. Well, so is business topics here as well under the Small Business Reference Center. And again, we know that we're here because it says that up here at the top. I'm going to show you some other business resources by EBSCO that are going to look very similar, but just know that, yeah, you look here and you should know what resource you're currently using. What are some of the other ones here? Let me see. Like, why don't we've got like business basics, which is here. So if I click on that, again, it breaks up even into further topics, employee coaching, conducting successful meetings. All of these links, for the most part, they link out to what are called NOLO guides. Not always NOLO guides, but if you might see some links to what's called a NOLO guide. If you see anything called NOLO, N-O-L-O, NOLO guides are basically like legal resources or legal, not just legal, but any sort of resource for the non-lawyer. So again, if you see the word NOLO, we see more of that under the legal resource guide, but there's some here as well. Again, NOLO guides are just ways of breaking down like complicated topics for non-experts in those topics. So let's see here. What's a good one here that we can try? Well, we can try starting a business, for example, although it goes even further, starting a business from home, starting a business with less than $1,000, so on and so forth. I'm going to click starting a business. And here I'm taken to some different chapters that are breakdown like how to start a business. Although I will say, though, these are not all of the results. I don't have any control over how this is displayed, but it really helps to also click this view all results option, which is up here, to see all of the results. But you can see that then there's just a wealth of articles here that you can read for free online. In fact, you can even see like what was this published in. Well, for example, this was published out of the Women's Small Business Startup Kit, but you can see that this was published in a NOLO guide, which was actually published in January of last month. That's how current this is. Although some things are older. For example, here's like a example of something that was published in Home Business Magazine from winter 2022, which is not all that bad, but these are just some good free articles that you can read to talk more about, starting your business. You can also sort these results as well. You want to look at something newer or something older, but just give you an example of this first guide for the Women's Small Business Startup Kit. If I click this Access Now PDF, it should open right here in my browser. And then if you can see this, you can even download this article if you wanted to. I believe you may or may not need the EBSCO account first, which is free, but you can also download this article, which is a PDF, to read online. Like I said, I'm not going to show this whole thing, but again, it just talks about, maybe targeting a profitable market with a winning idea. And it's even broken up by chapters. You can even click on these chapters and it'll take you right to that page. But I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Again, I'm not going to show this whole thing. This is, but this is just an example of what's out there. As I said, whether a business will succeed often boils down to a simple question: is the business idea a good one? Execution matters too. That's why I hopefully want you to use these resources. But the idea can make or break the venture. but it's a tricky part to answer that question. And as it says, don't let your enthusiasm get in the way of examining your business concept thoroughly. Again, this is just a free PDF that you can access that you can then read on your own time. And then here's another good one again, 5 steps, key steps I wish I knew before starting a business. I can click on that. And again, this is a full, sometimes you might see something called full text, in which case sometimes there's just the text, but not the image. This is a good example of something that has the how it would have appeared in the Home Business magazine. But there's some good stuff here, about this gentleman. I assume this is by Henry Ma. You can read his little bio down here, but it talks about, things he wished he knew before starting a business. Focus on one thing and do it well. I've heard that from other people as well. Networking is important. Adapt or die is a good one. I'm a Star Trek fan. That was one of the Ferengi rules of acquisition. The Ferengi were the business people of the Star Trek universe, or the business creatures, and that was their big thing: adapt or die, engage with your audience, so on and so forth. Again, these are just various articles that cover the topic of, starting your business and hopefully being successful. There are other ones here as well, like marketing your business, for example. I'm not going to go through all of these, but here's some good stuff. Like here's like an index for the how to market your business, a practical guide to advertising. But here are some book chapters as well from different books. And then if you really like one of these resources, although in case this is an older one from 2008, there might be some more current ones as well, in which case maybe I'll set this to date newest. I can also see like, oh, well, okay, they only got some older stuff here, but usually this stuff is more current, but sometimes these books have only been updated every so often. But like I said, what is marketing? Well, marketing has changed over the years, but at least you can also see like what were things back then, and maybe you still might get something useful out of it. Like I said, normally this stuff is more current, but not always. Like I said, that's just a different example. I'm not going to cover all of these. There's also, but again, this is some good stuff here that was just on Start Business Basics. Again, there was more here that I'll click on, but like core business functions is here. Here are those NOLO business guides that I referred to earlier. They've got their guides from 2023 and 2022. So in this case, you could even just browse some of the NOLO guides that they have here for their business guides if you just want to read the book itself. Again, that's if you're looking to this. Again, these are slightly more on the legal side of things, but there's still some good stuff here. The 2023 guides are not as many as the 2022 guides. Like there's some other stuff here as well. Some of this is the same, but some things they even don't link here, which is too bad. But here's a small business startup kit, for example. You click on that. Again, there's just articles from it. There's even some forms in it as well, which is nice. So there's a form example of a balance sheet, for example. Sometimes it'll list like different formats. So like here's an example, this form, this sample buy-sell agreement provision. You've got a couple of different options here for this particular form where you could download a PDF that you didn't have to write in, or you could even download a version of this form that can be edited as well, which is really nice. But they're not all that way, but some of them are editable. I said not all of them, but at least some of them are. And those are just forms. You can click show more results to see more results. Again, it's just showing forms first, but here's like a chapter, getting legal and other professional help. There's also some subjects here as well. If you like any of these subjects, you want to learn more on these subjects, you can actually just click on any of these and then it'll give you a list of articles specifically by that subject. These are just indexes. We're probably all familiar with those, but yeah, this is an example of 4,000 results just solely on the word lawyer. But you can also use this search bar at the top to search for other things, like for example, marketing, in which case, getting the word out, cost-effective marketing. I know we just sort of saw marketing earlier, but yeah, good, right? Doing cost-effective marketing, so on and so forth. Again, some of the stuff that I just showed you are probably going to be similar across the resources. But again, you can also even just go up here and at the first launch page and even just type something in. Oh, what would be a good example? I can't think of one right now, but regardless, you can type whatever you want. What would be like hiring, for example. You know, sometimes you just articles about hiring, but here's one right here again from the small business startup kit, building your business and hiring employees and other workers. But it's again some good stuff there too. Otherwise, you can also do what's called a publication search, although all the upscale products more or less show you the same thing. But when you click the publication search, you're taken to a list of, you can search publications through our that we offer, like, maybe you're interested in particular, like business journal or something like that. You can also browse these business journals, or you can even browse our databases or browse subjects. But like, for example, oops, Crane's Chicago Business, I believe, is part of this. So if I search Crane Chicago Business, I can click on that and I see what are my options. Well, these are just different. All of these will link you out to the article, but I'm just going to choose like one of these, which is the small business source, which is right here. And then when I click on that, I should be taken to, again, yeah, Crane Chicago Business. And as you can see, not all of these are going to be like article, like these will be articles. Some of them may be, again, what I said earlier, full text. Maybe we'll see an example of that here. But you can see that this is the January 2024 issue month of Crane Chicago Business, and we're actually linking out even to the most current issue, which is volume 47, issue 4. So maybe you knew of an article that was in this issue, and again, there won't be any graphics or anything, but maybe you wanted to read this, you went to Crane's website and you couldn't read it because it said, well, you got to pay us money in order to access it. Well, you can click on this HTML full text option, in which case here is the article about they're maybe putting a nuclear reactor in the University of Illinois campus, which I actually did read online, and I was able to use some of our resources to again fully read this article, because it's good to know that it's here. Because if I went to Crane's, which I won't do, if we looked up this article, chances are it's going to show you the first, like first paragraph and say, after this point, you have to pay us in order to read it. Well, with your library card and going through our small business reference center and searching for Crane's and navigating to today's issue, you can now read the text for free. Again, there's more examples than here, but that's just one of them, for example. And then again, I went down here to publications and I was able to do that. Again, if you save your searches, through Explora, again, this is all stuff I just did today. But again, if you actually create an account, this will then save all of your searches, and you can just click on that in the future and you'll be taken back to a live list of results. This is maybe one example, a encouragement to create your own MyEBSCO account. But again, just a lot of good stuff here as far as, again, just stuff related to Small Business Reference Center. I'm going to move up a little bit and cover another one called Business Source Premier. Business Source Premier is going to look very similar to what we just saw. Business Source Premier is really it's just a blanket, it's like a search engine for business, competitive intelligence and things along those lines. You can type in like different things that you're searching for example, hiring, again, like we just saw. And again, here it may give you access to resources that weren't in the Small Business Reference Center. So here's a good one, avoiding fright and flight. It's not unusual for hiring managers to inadvertently alarm job candidates during the interview process. Here's how to keep from waving potential red flags, could be helpful. Again, I'm not in hiring and maybe no one else here is, but here's another one, how to avoid immigration related discrimination when complying with US export control laws and hiring and employee verification. Here's another good one from HR Future, creating a great hiring experience. Again, I just was hiring as an example, but you can see there's some good stuff here. Sometimes it's not always an article. This is just an abstract, but I guess that article was there. Sadly, not everything is fully available, but if you see, again, this option that says, how to access it, sometimes you can even get the full text and the PDF, for example. So if I close the online full text, it's going to look like this, which isn't too bad. But if it gave me the PDF option, I believe this should look like it did in the journal. And there you go. Again, they're not all this way, but at least some of them are. And again, you could read this whole article. if you wanted to, about how to keep people from fleeing. If you're conducting interviews and people are saying turning you down, maybe there's something you may or may not be doing that you may or may not be aware of that maybe would stop that from happening. But again, that's just hiring. Like I said, I'm having trouble thinking of something to look up, but like what would be firing? Let's say, well, let's try like marketing again. We can type in marketing. Here's a good one. Best practices to budget and spend for marketing, for example. Again, you can click this Access Now PDF. And then again, here's just like here's a tried and true article from that could be helpful from nonprofitworld.org, but maybe that could be helpful if you're even not a nonprofit. But again, just some good full text articles for you to see. You can also click this publication search, which again is looking very similar to what we saw. Again, you can also just browse publications, or we could also, like I said, browse by subject if you wanted to. Again, and it shows how many publications are associated with these subjects. Like you're just like, again, maybe your business is big into abnormal psychology. Well, you could look up a publication that goes into abnormal psychology, but maybe you're not looking for something so specific. Maybe your company is like in the adhesives industry, for example, in which case it'll show me that there is a journal, at least, that was the Adhesives and Sealants Industry Journal. And then again, this just gives me different resources, different ways I can access it, in which case both Business Source Premier and the Small Business Reference Center or Small Business Source, terms are interchangeable. I could click on this and, I'm curious how long this journal got. Wow, it's even published to today. But you can see, you can even go through the archives all the way back to 1996. You can even search within this publication, which is oops, sorry, I can't really highlight it, which is right here. Search within this publication. You can just say, and like, let's say glue. So you put in adhesives and sealant industry, which is JN, which is technical for the journal name. You can search glue. And if I did this right, here's a list of all the articles that have the word glue that were in the Adhesives and Sealants Industry Journal. You can do more than just glue, but it's there. But again, that's just an example again of just this of this trade journal that again you would have no access to unless you want to pay for it yourself. But here again, you can access it with a library card. And even so, you can even go back all the way back to 1996 if you wanted to then see that, oh, okay, well, this is great. But what does it offer? Well, I won't cover all of this bibliographic record, but what's helpful sometimes is this full text option right here. They'll let you know that most of these are probably going to be full text. But again, just a lot of good resources here just to look up trade journals. But again, unfortunately, today's presentation is being recorded. So if you've missed anything so far, again, you can just go back and watch it later. I'll send the link later on. But this is just, like I said, a good example of doing a marketing thing. There's also, after you do your search, there's also some company profiles as well up here, accessible from up here on this top line. You could read these if you want. These are sometimes up to date, sometimes done recently. I didn't even realize 1-800-Flowers was even still around until I saw that there was actually a market line report on them. But here's like I think this is from a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, but January 2023, so even a year old. They even have company company profiles, not in everybody, but at least some of the more major companies that are out there. And you could read through all of that. They'd even do a SWOT analysis, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Or again, you can even like just search for a company if you wanted to. If they're listed, you can just scroll. But that's also helpful if you're thinking about working with another company, especially a larger company. Again, you could just go to the Small Business Source Premier and click, not publications. You can click where it says company profiles. And again, you could look through these profiles if you wanted to and read their market line report about them. Again, a market line report where if you were at home, you'd have to pay for. Again, that was that. Again, you got your publication search here, which is another way of searching through publications. But like I said, there's just a lot of good stuff here. I think at some point we've actually gotten to the older version of this page, but regardless, it's there. But like I said, this is again some good stuff. But we're going to bounce back here, which is the main source for Business Source Premier. But like I said, it's a lot of good resources for just again doing more competitive intelligence and looking up different business resources. The next one I'm going to talk about is going to be this one called the Legal Information Reference Center, Resource Center. I'm not going to go into this too in depth. This is going to look very similar to what we saw. So if I click on that, I'm taking, again, there's more NOLO legal guides, which are here. In which case, again, there's more of this exploring by subject. We really saw that across the EBSCO product, across Business Source Premier and the Small Business Reference Center. Again, you can create a My EBSCO account that'll link across all of these EBSCO resources. But we can browse like some of their legal form sites. Like some of these are more personal. They're not always related to businesses, but maybe you're in businesses undergoing a bankruptcy. Here's some human resources guides. Maybe your business deals with patents, or you're thinking about getting a patent. You can look through their patent guide. Personal injury, maybe, but just some good stuff here as well. But like I said, that was just under that. But like I said, here's business and corporations. Again, articles about doing when it comes to audits, buying or selling a business, different ones as well. Ownership structures, sales and marketing, starting a business. I think if we click this, sometimes it gets a little into the weeds, but there's some stuff here as well, like trademarks and getting permission to use stuff, or even how to profit from your idea. Again, here's some good, like your legal companion. Let's see what this is. Again, you'll be taken to the page with all the citations, but again, you click this Access Now PDF. And when we click on that, again, here's your legal companion. If you're like most inventors, you know how hard it is to design and patent a great idea. But the thing though is that earning money from that great idea is even harder. And this is just one page out of that book, for example. But you then have to find the book itself, which unfortunately they do not, to my knowledge, link here, which is really too bad. But anyway, that's out of my control. But again, profiting from your idea, negotiating your agreement, so on and so forth. I'm going to type in like maybe selling up here, see what we come up with. Again, some of this is going to look similar to what we saw earlier, but selling a company. Some of this again is personal, or not personal. It's for individuals, like buying or selling a company, a dog, or personal property. Selling without an agent, real estate, timely in today's market, but again, not so much relevant to us for business owners. But again, there's just different stuff here. But again, like I said, this is more for your legal side of things, but we could even do like, oh, what about firing, for example? Here's a good one. Form me a checklist of considerations before firing an employee. This is even again from a 2024 guide, January 2024. I can click this Access Now with the PDF, and here's something where maybe you don't, maybe your company, and maybe not you, but maybe whoever's in HR, or maybe you are HR if you're a small enough business. You may not know, like, well, how am I gonna, I have to write up a whole checklist for consideration before firing an employee. Well, here's one ready made for you. And you can go through this again, do your research. I'm not saying just do this and don't do your research, but here's at least one avenue that you can get access to out of a NOLO guide, which is a checklist, or I think this was a NOLO guide. Let me read the citation. Yeah, dealing with problem employees. This was a NOLO guide, but again, here's something for you to access to in order to, again, have a checklist where maybe you wouldn't have had one before. You have to write one up from scratch. Well, now you don't need to. Here's chapter 12 out of this is an older guide, January 2020, from the manager's legal handbook. But again, here's but here's an older version as well of that form. Here's what's nice about this checklist of consideration before firing an employee, this older form, in which case they again give you that option between either the PDF, which you have to print out and write in, or you could also download an editable form as well in this particular instance. That's why sometimes it helps to browse through these results. But here's an interesting one. Massachusetts High Court, this is an article, allows employees to sue for medical marijuana firings. I mean, that you may want to see if there's something similar in Illinois, but you could read through that if you wanted to, because of course marijuana in Illinois is legal. Or just different articles about stuff. But again, there's just a lot of good stuff here. And that was just under firing, for example. You could also do hiring. Maybe you're looking to get new employees. Well, here's hiring help for employees and independent contractors. Hiring help. Again, some of these you got to read through what the source is first, like every landlord's tax legal guide. But here's another one, maybe hiring a lawyer. Maybe I would recommend all businesses have a lawyer, even if you don't think you need one. But again, how would you hire a lawyer? Again, I wouldn't know how to tell you what to do to hire a lawyer, but here's a nice NOLO guide where it walks you through the whole process of, when to hire a lawyer, how to find a good lawyer, legal fees, working with your lawyer, and even if you have to fire your lawyer. Maybe you're like, no, enough of that. I don't like this lawyer. I need somebody else. But again, just really good stuff there out of this NOLO guide, which was, again, a January 2024 NOLO guide. This, again, was a current publication, which is really, again, timely. There's also, again, a form here. Maybe you're looking to hire somebody like we saw earlier. Instead of the firing, this is on the opposite side of things. Again, you read through this, have it approved by a lawyer. Anyway, but again, this is a non-editable form, but if you have Adobe Acrobat at home, you could edit it, but you have to pay for that. Again, more stuff on hiring. Again, this will talk you through how to just hiring, but this is out of the employee handbook, but just ways of considering hiring, equal opportunity employers, equal opportunity opportunities, just browsing through this. Again, something for you to read on your own time, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of good, like, different article and resources here. Again, that was just under the that was just one example of what's out there. Again, a lot of this looks similar, but again, it's just different forks in the road. You got your Small Business Reference Center, you got the Business Source Premier, you've got, again, the Explora, which is sort of the blanket term for all of them, but this, again, is the Legal Resource Center. And again, a lot of good stuff here for you to resource. Again, legal forms by U.S. state, which is really nice. This is just on the main page, in which case you can access now legal forms for different states, in which case, again, I know I'm going a little bit fast, but we've got Illinois state legal forms, which is here, in which case it's bounced me out to the Illinois court's website. Good stuff. Again, you have to go searching for it. It's here for you at a glance. But again, I got to that from the main page, in which case this was this main link here. You can even discover popular topics. You can look at the latest NOLO legal guides by changing this, you can click on different, this box here for this particular example, but you can look at what are some of the latest NOLO legal guides. And again, these are just some of the latest articles, but again, good stuff here. When you owe state income taxes, there's probably even business income taxes are here as well. But again, variety of resources. Okay, and the last one I'm going to show, okay, I didn't actually link to it here, but again, that was just some of the major stuff. I'm not going to go to the rest of these. Under starting a business, we've also got competitive intelligence, which is right here. A lot of this stuff was linked to, which we already talked about the majority, talked about some of these. But the thing I'm going to show you before I get into really the meat of this, which is probably what you're most interested in, is how do I find clients? I'm going to get to that in just a moment. I just want to also show you this other resource, which is ABI Inform. ABI Inform is good because what you can do with this is, again, you can search publications, although what's really nice about this one is this one will actually give you article. Again, maybe your business isn't that big enough, but you can actually, I believe, you can get access to the Wall Street Journal with full text available from up until the most current issue. I believe we also have access even not just to Wall Street Journal, but Wall Street Journal Online. So if you're looking at something on the Wall Street Journal and you can't read it, well, consider going to our website and then clicking that ABI Inform option under competitive intelligence. And you can see that this is the February 12th issue. This is today. These are today's articles on the Wall Street Journal website, which I'm not going to click on any of these, but these are all full text articles, which will have all the text that you would have seen on the Wall Street Journal website. stuff. Again, you could not go to the Wall Street Journal website and read unless you had a Wall Street Journal subscription. Well, we provide them for you. Again, there are caveats to that. There won't be any graphics or anything. The Wall Street Journal still wants to give you some incentive to purchase to subscribe to them. But again, a lot of good stuff here that again you can read for free without the need to have a Wall Street Journal subscription. Like here's the Eastern edition. Why don't we click on that? And again, 2024. This was what was in today's Wall Street Journal. Again, good stuff here. You can click on any of those articles. Similar to before, though, this is now up here is you can navigate to, you can click this choose an issue to view. You can go all the way back to 1982, or maybe you want to read something in the January issue. You can click 2024, January, and you're like, what I wanted to read was in the January 21st, 2024 issue. Here are your parameters, and you click view issue, and here you go. Oh, I don't know why that only showed one thing. This works a little bit better than that. Some of these, there might be a slight embargo. Here we go. Here's like more stuff. That might have just been a flub. But some stuff might be embargoed, but usually not. But again, here's a full thing on the 18th issue, for example, or the 12th. For example, again, I'm not going to click any of these, but what happens is when you find the article that you're looking for, you again can click full text, and then you'll be able to read it. Or as before, you can even search within the Wall Street Journal publication, for example, if you wanted to, by just typing in like I don't know what's everyone's big on Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin, for example, all the articles out of the Wall Street Journal on Bitcoin, which you could read. Again, there's ways of sorting and filtering, which I won't go into, but again, ways of accessing the Wall Street Journal. And there's more than just the Wall Street Journal under this ABI Inform option. I just chose that as a starting point. But for example, you can also browse publication. If you just want to search for anything, you can just type it in here. So for example, going back to hiring, I can type this in here and I can get a whole lot of articles on hiring. There's over 4 million results. But again, maybe there's something here that you may not have known that you can now read that your business competitor cannot read. But what we can also do is we can even do a publication search. For what's also nice is that the Chicago Tribune is in here as well. Again, full text, but I can search the Chicago Tribune. And let me see if I can find it. Here it is, the Chicago Tribune. I've got full text articles from 1996 until today. When I click on this, the February 12th issue should be here. So here's all the articles that were in today's issue of the Chicago Tribune. Again, full text, no graphics, but now you can read it at home because you can't make it into the library to read our issue of the Tribune that you then can't take home with you. So again, that was just one example of so much that's out there. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, not just the Tribune, I think we also offer... so here's the New York Times as well is on here. You could read the New York Times for business related things, or you can even search like different topics that you want to read through the New York Times if you just wanted specifically, New York Times related issues. But again, you can read through this if you want and read all the articles that were in today's issue of the New York Times. But again, you don't have to do that. I'm just saying it's out there. You could type in like selling, like improve selling skills. Different stuff here on again, improving your selling skills. Again, I'll show you a different way of looking at some videos, which might be more helpful. But again, articles for you to read at home. All right, now here's really the nuts and bolts. I'm not going to cover the rest of these because but the one I really want to cover the most, though, which is probably why we're here, is I want to find customers and I want to find other businesses that will, whether businesses or individuals, here's my product. I know what company, I know who our marketing who our customer focus is on. How do I find customers, not just in Carroll Stream, not just in Illinois, or not in DuPage, not just in DuPage, but not just in Illinois, but not anywhere in the continental United States. And potentially, or not just continental United States, across the entire United States. Or also, how do I find customers, not just here, but in Canada? This is really the one you want to use the most. And this is this reference solutions page. Reference solutions is, and I really encourage you to create an account through this register now option. I'm able to show you an example of what happens after you're logged in afterwards. But this is really this is a directory of all sorts of businesses, historical businesses, Canadian businesses, new businesses, consumer lifestyles for individuals. There's even the white pages here. You could even target new movers and homeowners if you really want, like if you really are focused on like individual customers, you can figure out who has recently moved into this area, and you could send them, like, again, make sure you follow all the laws, but you know, you could send them like a package or something, or a hello, welcome to the community, and you could send them that stuff. You could send them like a hello, welcome to the community. Our library doesn't do that here, but I know libraries who use this database who will use that to send a care package to new homeowners to their community and say, hi, we know your, hi, hello, your name, like their name. And they'll say like, okay, welcome to the community. We're your local library. We'd love to have you stop by sometime. But I'm going to choose, first of all, this US businesses option. So when you click the US businesses option, you're taken to the quick search page. The quick search page is helpful if you know the quick search screen is helpful if you want to know, like, if you want to look up a specific company like Best Buy, and like, let's say, I believe there's one in oh shoot, no, are they in Lombard or are they in Downers Grove? I don't remember. I'm going to say Illinois. I think, no, I think they're in Downers Grove. So I click them, and then I'm taken to the Best Buys, which are, there's, wow, I didn't know there were two of them in Downers Grove. But anyway, I'm more familiar with the Butterfield Road one. But again, I can click on Best Buy. And again, when I click on a company profile, it'll tell me a little bit about the company. If it's a verified record, that means that, you know, that Data Axle / Reference Solutions, you know, they did what they could to make sure this was as accurate as possible. Again, no record, it doesn't matter who your database is, who you get your business, who you find business customers through, is ever going to be like right to the minute. But at least at one point this was accurate. They usually try and verify this as best they can. And then you can see here is, you know, here's what this Best Buy deals with, you know, electronic equipment, cellular telephones, you know, description of what they do. These are just different SIC, standard industrial classification codes, North American industrial classification codes, I believe is what it's called. Here's their business profile. You know, here's some of their demographics. You know, give you this is a little bit more accurate when it's a public company like Best Buy is, but here's some good stuff about them. Here's their management directory. If they're not manager right now, at least one point there was a Brian Broyles who was a manager there, you know, a Nicholas Papa. Again, some of their different things. You can even load company news if you wanted to, although this would be like, it's not always all that helpful because it's just, you know, just general company news, probably on what these SIC codes are. But again, and there's stock, it doesn't say ticker symbol only because this is an individual company. This is not the top. This is not the top. I'll show you how to navigate up the corporate chain in just a moment. But you can read through here about some of their information. Again, to various degrees, you know, sometimes this is as accurate as they can be, but sometimes you got to look at this and realize, well, I don't know why it's suddenly 40 million across these 3 years and back to what it was. But you know, sometimes they have spikes in data, but at least some of this is accurate. Again, here's some of their company history. They've been in there for a while, since at least 2007, which is probably when their records started. You know, sometimes you can look up UCC filings or nearby businesses. You can even click this competitors report, although sometimes the competitors report may just be like places that are nearby. Although in this case, at least this is a little helpful because it lists some electronic stores, so on and so forth. Again, this is just a company profile. And that was just doing like a basic search. You can even download these results if you want to like an Excel file if you want to. But again, you probably want more than just Best Buy. I'll show you how to actually get a list of customers based on your criteria in just a moment. But here's this save search option, in which case, again, you can save your search after you create your free account. And then basically all your saved searches, you can then run live. And then that way, you know, you have to constantly type in Best Buy if you're not just trying to only appeal to Best Buy. To appeal to just Best Buy. Now, I said earlier, how do we get up the corporate tree? How do I know if this is like the top company, the top Best Buy at the top of their corporate tree ladder, or is this one of the, or are they on the bottom rung? Well, what you can see here is we've got this corporate tree drop down menu here. You can change this to be other ones as well, but I'm going to choose this as corporate tree, in which case you can click this little corporate tree icon, which is right here. And when you do that, here is the corporate tree of Best Buy, in which case the PC is the primary of this of Best Buy. And you can see here that, of course, I know this is true because I used to work for Best Buy, although not in their corporate offices. They're housed in Minneapolis. And you can click this Best Buy Company Inc. and you can read through and you can know, okay, the Best Buy in Downers Grove is not the top company, is not the top rung here. It's actually their corporate headquarters in Minneapolis, which is the top rung. Again, more of their SIC and NAICS codes, which you may want to write some of these down. If you find a company that you're interested, like, oh, I'm finding all these companies and they all have the same code. I'll show you again how to search codes in just a moment. But again, this is just a good way of reading through Best Buy, a company profile and seeing what's available, in which case, here's some good more stuff here. Again, because they're publicly traded, here's some, this is usually more accurate than a private company, because private companies is really hard to get information on, especially financials. But here again, here's their ticker symbol, BBY. Which is here because, again, they're the ones who are trading, not the individual stores. And you can read again about some of their business expenditures, for example, that are estimated. Here is that it's an estimated annual expense. But again, here's some of their examples of trade. I don't think this really took a nosedive in 2023. I think they just don't have the data for that yet. But again, you can see some examples of some general trends in terms of sales. But again, employee size by year. And again, this is just some of their company history going back to a certain year. Again, in this case, if they're public, there should be, some UCC filings, nearby businesses. Sometimes you can get some more detailed stuff here. But anyway, this is just an example of a company's profile. Now, though, you're probably not going to know, oh, I don't know. It's not that I don't know about Best Buy. I know about Best Buy. What I need to know is I need to know all the businesses in this area that specifically need the product that I'm selling. In which case, you can click this advanced search option. The advanced search is really where the guts are, where the good stuff is in terms of doing your searches. So they have 18 million results of verified businesses, which means they tried to do their best to qualify to verify and check quality, although you could choose some of the unverified businesses or even some that are closed. But what you can see here on the left-hand side is we have a lot of different options here that will allow us to more specifically tailor our search by clicking any of these checkmark boxes. So for example, maybe I just want to know, like, okay, I'm only interested in selling into Carol Stream. Well, if you click the city state option, you can then go to this city state box. If you click any of these boxes, they're going to populate here in the center. But what I can do is I can then take this criteria and put in Carol Stream. Here's Carol Stream right here. I click Carol Stream. I could put in other towns as well. Maybe you want to search Bloomingdale or whatever. I then click this update count option, and now I got 1,758 businesses that are listed as being in Carol Stream. And I can click view results, and here are a list of all the businesses in Carol Stream, some of which have a corporate tree like the 7-Elevens do. But I can then look through these, and this was without even doing like a more focused, like, this is just a starting point. So like I said, these companies you can click on these, and again, some of these are definitely private companies or solopreneurs, but I can click on this, for example, AVG Electronics LP, and I can see, okay, well, I've got their phone number, but here's a little bit about what they're doing. As you can see, they're private business, unlike Best Buy, which is public. So some of this stuff really is estimated. I'm not saying take it with a grain of salt, but take it and realize, okay, well, some of this may not necessarily be accurate, just only because that's just the nature of private companies, and that they don't have to publicly report their financials to the SEC. But again, you can say here's some when this record was last updated, although it doesn't quite tell us what was updated. You can say they've been around for a while. They were established in 1975. Wow. And then some general stuff. Are they a federal contractor or not? Hours, and like I said, Shamal Kamal is the one who's running this company. Again, these are all just estimates, probably based on what they do. But again, you can at least get some general information about this company, and you can see they've been at least been around since 2015 in there. And if they've changed addresses, you'll see that here. But again, that's just some general stuff on just a company that's in Carol Stream. We can also do it now. You can also download these records if you want to. I believe you can download up to 300 at a time. But you can download records again and export them into Excel, and then within Excel you could then put them into like mail merge or something, or to mail these companies or what have you. Again, you were responsible for adhering to all laws. But again, you can download these results. They're not just stuck here on this resource. But going back to doing, like I said, a more specific search, you could also do a radius search if you wanted to, in which case you could put in a zip code and say you want all businesses within like 5 miles or something like that, or 10 miles. Maybe you don't like to go like 20 miles to go find a client. Well, you could do that. But what we're really looking for though is let me see if I can find it, is really under this second box here, which is, or this third box here, which is business types. Business types are helpful because this lets you really hone down on, the specific type of business that you're trying to do business with. So what I mean by that is if you can search codes, for example, like, what would be an example? Like, let's say like auto repair. I can search an SIC code and I can like take all of these and I could import them into, I don't go that far, but anyway, like here, like which ones did I click? Like auto repair and service. These are just some where these codes are there. I can update this count. There's 29 auto repair stores, at least based on those SIC codes that I had here, which are in Carol Stream. And again, you can go to view results and you can look through these companies which are here. I wonder if they're on here. Oh, who were they? Oh, I've already forgotten. But again, you can look through some of these different companies that are here. Like here's Joe Cotton Ford, for example. Oh, here is Kehoe Auto Repair is here. I recently had my car fixed by them. But again, these are just a list of auto suppliers, in which case some of these, like Grease Monkey, of course, are part of a larger corporate tree that you could click on. If you're wondering what this arrow is, this arrow, if you click that, it'll just jump you up a level. So maybe maybe Grease Monkey, if they have like a regional office, that would jump you up to them. But if you click that arrow enough times, you'll eventually be kicked up to the main, to the top Grease Monkey, like their corporate headquarters. But again, there's some towing stuff is here. Here's even Bell Tire. Bell Tire is relatively new to Carol Stream, and here's Bell Tire. So new, they don't even have the manager in charge, but at least you know where it is, 490 South Main Plaza, I think that is. But you can even click on, but amongst these results, in addition to just, I encourage you to click all these options. What's also nice is you can also click a heat map option. And with this heat map, it'll then map out where all of these businesses are. So you can see that there's a larger congregation of these auto repair stores, mostly south of North Avenue. These maps are helpful because if you're doing, like, maybe you're going to go out and network with some of these businesses, well, you can look at all these businesses that are in this geographical area, and you can then say, well, okay, I'm going to hit up all these businesses in the same day because they're all right next to each other. That way it's not like, oh, well, I went up here and then I went here and then I went here and then I went here. You can more specifically focus in on what these businesses are, in which case some of them are here on the left. If you're really trying to network with maybe a place you're unfamiliar with, you can also click some of these checkmark boxes and figure out, well, maybe I'm going to wine and dine somebody. You can click this restaurants option and you can see where all the restaurants in this general around these businesses, maybe you're taking somebody out to lunch, in which case you could click on this and say, oh, well, here's Charkey's, who I've never even heard of. Maybe I've heard of them, but anyway, you can click on Charkey's and you can even see Charkey's profile if you wanted to. Or maybe you realize, oh, well, wait a minute, I don't have time to, I don't have that kind of a budget, but maybe I want to stop somewhere at a convenience store and get something to eat. You got to grab something quick for a snack. You can click on convenience stores. You can click on more than one, but I'm just saying, here's an example of convenience stores. Or you can even click on like attractions, for example. I don't know what lists as attractions. This is probably the Carol Stream Park District. What's down here? Klein Creek Farm. Maybe if you're trying to woo a customer, you could see where are the local attractions and maybe take them there. Again, everything above board, but you could do that if you wanted to. But maybe you don't know, though, of the codes that you're dealing with. So you're like, well, you can search the codes, you can put in the codes, but maybe you just want to browse. In which case, if you want to browse the different industry groups, you're going to want to click this second check mark box. In which case, oh, sorry. In which case, these are some larger topics that are here, but you can also drill down even further. So let's say wholesale distributors, for example. If I just click this wholesale distributors, I can see 231 results in Carol Stream. But maybe I need something more specific than that. You can click this plus button and becomes a minus, and then I got two more pluses below it: wholesale trade of durable goods or wholesale trail of non-durable goods. I can click this plus, I can get down even further, in which case, here's like automotive wholesale distributors, here's roofing wholesale distributors. I can keep going down the rabbit hole as long as these pluses are here. Or I can just click these check mark boxes and I can see, again, now we're down to 26 companies just dealing with electrical apparatuses, for example. And then I could again view the results. And here's an example of companies whose SIC codes, I believe is what it was, were based off the results that I just, for electronics, for example, like Maytag Repair. Ingram is around too. I didn't know Ingram did that, but well, whatever. But again, it requires further research. But Royal Die and Stamping is here, although I think they recently rebranded, so they're probably still working on that. But yeah, these are just example again of companies that deal with the things that you listed here, just because you again decided to do here. I'm sorry, and those are just, and you can go down even further if you wanted to. You can really go down the rabbit hole, though eventually if you get to be so specific, like we can't go any further than this. You may not necessarily find what you're looking for, but at least you would know if it was either there or it wasn't. But again, you click these minuses now to go back up. So for example, maybe you're not interested in wholesale, you're interested in wholesale distributors. Maybe you're interested in those who deal with non-durable goods, in which case, here's like printing, groceries. Maybe that's, let's see here, groceries. So there's like 18 grocery stores in Carol Stream. Or maybe not that specific. There's probably more to that code. There's probably a better grocery store code, but here's like some, because this is wholesales, that's why. Here's some, although to a degree this is true, not true, but most of this is accurate, although sometimes the SIC codes are usually determined by the company, like Reference Solutions, in which case that's why Interfaith Food Pantry is on here. But again, these are just wholesalers that wholesale to groceries, for example. But that was just one example. Again, there's just so much here. I'm not going to go into all of them, but that's just one example. Like maybe you're not interested in wholesale distributing, maybe you're interested in like retail and trade, or like financial real estate, and there's even non-classified establishments. Again, you just click these checkmark boxes and you can pull up a list of results and you can download those results. Again, I think you can only download up to 300 at a time, but what happens is when you're downloading your results, and this would work better if I remove this. So if you're ever viewing your results, you can click this checkmark box and this will checkmark everything if you want to. You go to the next page, click checkmark box. You go to the next page, click checkmark box. Anyways, you keep going through that. If you ever click download and says you've got too many records selected, all you do is you can download a batch of records. Then you just go back here and you just uncheck pages 1 through 3. And then you just go to page 4. And then you just keep going. So maybe you're only downloading like 3 whole pages of results at a time. Well, you can do that. I believe details, if I'm not mistaken, is just, details of this specific company. You saw those ones I checked. I checked 75 companies, but this is also a way of just bouncing from one to the next rather than having to click it each time. I then go to the next one. This is Alpha Cargo. This is Alpha Technologies. This is Amazon Hose and Rubber Company of Miami, which I guess is or was based in Carol Stream. They even list an Amazon Hub Locker, which is even kind of wild. But again, these are just Amazon lockers. You can figure where are all the Amazon lockers in Carol Stream. Um, but anyway, like I said, but here's like Amida, for example. I think but yeah, you can click on like Amida, for example. Here's Amida Health. Maybe you're interested in appeal in selling some to a medical company. In which case, I but again, here's just a heat map, really, of all the businesses in Carol Stream. Again, this looks a lot better if you haven't clicked, like, if you haven't just blanket searched Carol Stream. You can see, like, again, the red or the dot, like right here, that usually means there's more concentration in that area. But you can see, like, this is the primary industrial area of Carol Stream. You get some stuff up here as well. There's some gas stations. Jewel Osco is up here. But again, that's just one example of a heat map. You could also like different heat maps for like sales volume, for example. Um, eh, Number of employees. Again, I encourage you to go more down the rabbit hole with this on your own time. Now, those are businesses, though. What if you wanted to appeal to consumers? And I'm really excited about this because this was just something we just recently turned on. But anyway, that was this aspect of it. But I'm going to go back to reference solutions. And what I'm really excited about, though, is this US consumer lifestyles module. And I may have to pause my share for some of this because we might see some stuff that I don't want to share publicly. Again, you can only access this with your library card. You could do a quick search. You could look up yourself if you wanted to, see what it says if you come up at all. But what you can do is under this advanced search, what I really like about this is so what you can do is you can search for, first of all, we can do like we did before, click city state. You can look up anybody in Carol Stream. You can even then break it down by lifestyle options. So maybe you only want to sell to, again, more of these pluses, but you can choose, maybe you're interested in people who are big into, maybe you're big into people who are dieting or health. You can click this, in which case you will then see like there's we don't provide emails, but there's 7,000 results of people who, based on their credit card records or public records, credit card records, I should say, there's 7,320 people in Carol Stream who specifically deal with health, diet, and fitness. But what the thing that, which you could see results of people, which is why I'm probably going to pause my share when I actually click the results. But what's really better now, though, and we just turned this on within the past few days, was I was asked a long time ago by a business who said, I appeal to people only in a certain demographic range. I only want people who are over the age of 30 or things like that. So like, and before you couldn't get that information from this database because it would tell you, okay, well, that's, it would give you some general like statistics, but it wouldn't give you actual results. Well, we were able to turn on a feature where now you get results of people who are in this community who anything under this consumer snapshot option. Originally, all of this was hidden. You couldn't get any results like individuals who are in these categories, but now you can. So that business I was helping way back when, now they can get that information. So I can click this and I can choose that I only want people who, maybe you only want to work with people who are between the ages of 40 and 60, in which case you can update the count and you can see this number went down a little bit. Again, that's a pretty wide demographic, but now that number went down a bit. Now here is where I'm going to not pause my share. I'm going to see, I think I can pause the recording. So I'm going to pause the recording. So I had skipped a section of this presentation where I showed the results of individuals in Carol Stream who appealed by certain demographics and certain age ranges. You can click into these checkmark boxes and you can have a focused mailing list of individuals. Which will look very similar to the businesses page for those of you who saw that. Although again, make sure you're make sure you're following all laws. But we can also, again, that was just businesses, and again, that was under consumer lifestyles. But what you can also do is you can also go to the U.S. new movers and homeowners database. You can again look up individuals if you want, but you can even go again to this advanced search, which is really where the more powerful tools lie. And again, you can even look up, again, you can figure out, in Carol Stream, Again, it doesn't have to be Carol Stream, but this is just an example. I'm just using it because we're in Carol Stream. You can even go like home, what's the estimated age of the homeowners? What is their home ownership? What is the housing type? Maybe you don't want to work with multifamily. Maybe you don't want to work with people who live in apartments. You can choose single family, in which case there's 552 recent move-ins for Carol Stream. Relocation details are here. I haven't really done much with this, but you can even look at people who have mortgages. You know, you could also exclude things as well if you wanted to, like maybe, but although we're Carol Stream, so if you exclude Carol Stream, you're not going to get any results. But just to give you another example of this radius search. So again, you could put in 60188 as our zip code. And again, you can maybe want to appeal to people who only live within 10 miles of here. Well, again, you've now got 13,000 results. And again, I'm not going to show it, but these results are going to be individuals with their address. Again, you can mail like a package or mail like, again, do a targeted mailing list targeting all new homeowners in Carol Stream. And again, you can just use these to maybe more narrowly tailor focused your search for, like, maybe you want people to say people only have an estimated income. Again, maybe you're only looking for people who are $500,000 plus. I would be really curious to see what the results are for that. Okay, so there's 7 people who moved to Carol Stream who might be making more than $500,000, but maybe you're looking for that big money client. Again, you are the business, you are the entrepreneur. I am not. But again, you can click view results and you will see view results of these 7 people. And though, well, again, that's not using Carol Stream. Sorry, I forgot I did the radius search. So that's within like 10 miles. We can try 20, see how that number goes up any higher. Okay, it went up to 68. I'm curious what's 15, for example. A radius search just means with 60188, which is basically Carol Stream, as the center point, it'll then create a circle around us that will have, with 15 miles north, south, east, west, all around us will generate that. Again, that's what's called a radius search. If we were to look at the heat map, you would also see this in example, but again, I'm not going to go there because really time's short. But again, this is, like I said, these 3, the U.S. businesses search, the consumer lifestyles option, and the new homeowners one are really good stuff too. The white pages are not really as helpful if you're looking for customers, only because, again, it has the home value stuff, but the white pages are really just if you really want to mail anybody, because there's no way to hone down by like, what is this person like? What are they actually interested in? Which is you get everybody, but it is a good way to look up people, for example. But again, but the data there is not as robust in terms of what do they like or dislike that you're just not going to find except under this consumer lifestyles option. Again, there are other ones here. I'm not really going to go into them for the sake of time, but you could also do some similar stuff with Canadian businesses as well. You can also look up the Canadian white pages. There is no Canadian lifestyles module on here. But again, there's just, like I said, the U.S. businesses database contains a list of 94 million businesses. If we go under the lifestyles option, we can click this more information, and it should, okay, well, it's not, oh, here we go. Yeah, U.S. consumer lifestyles option talks a little bit more about what this database is. They've got 257 million consumers. Oh, sorry, I clicked that so many times. That's why this populated so many times. But yeah, you can read some more stuff here. Again, if you create an account though, and I'll just create an account to show you that the login screen looks a little bit different, but or the search screen looks a little bit different, but again, here are some of my saved searches. In which case I could click these and it would generate a live list, like all libraries within 10 miles of us. In which case this is dynamically generated. This is not a snapshot of when I first saved the search, but now I can see that, it just generated that for me. But again, you can go up here and, you can find a consumer, you can string different terms together. Like maybe like cooking, okay, cooking is not a good, okay, well, from the basic search, it's not as straightforward, but you can again click this build a list option, in which case we're taken back again to this advanced screen where again, you can just build your list. And then again, when you find your results on the results page, you then click save searches, and then again, it'll then dynamically generate that list. So you generate it today, and you run the list, you run the search again, like maybe like a month from now, the results may be different because maybe some, or they may be the same. But again, that's the advantage of creating an account where you don't have, where maybe you clicked like a bunch of these checkmark boxes. You had a very tailored search. By saving the search, you then don't have to worry about, oh, well, I forgot all of the things I checked and what I put in. So again, that's the advantage of that. The last thing I'm going to show you today outside of data, Axle, and reference solutions is going to be just a couple of professional development sources. Legal resources, we already talked about the Legal Resource Center, so I'm not going to click on that. But under professional development, what's nice is that we actually provide complimentary access to LinkedIn Learning at this time. LinkedIn Learning, we're familiar with LinkedIn. Well, LinkedIn Learning is they're basically all their video tutorials are here. I'm going to temporarily pause my share so I can log in real quick. Well, but basically when you click that link, you'll then be prompted to put in your library card number and your PIN number. And now I'm going to resume my share. So what you can see here is, there's good stuff here, not just how to use like Excel or Word, but there's like entrepreneurship foundations. There's like an hour-long video you can watch on entrepreneurship foundations. There's also, productivity reminders, discovering your strengths. You could even look a video on like selling, for example. There's ways of persuasive selling. They have an hour-long video on persuasive selling that because our library is subscribed to LinkedIn Learning on your behalf. You can watch all these videos for free. Although I do really encourage you to use this, because if not, a lot of people use LinkedIn Learning. We may have to drop it. But like I said, there's a lot of good, the science of selling, how to close the deal, how to sell anything with confidence, not just selling. We could type in like management, for example, type that in, like essential lessons for first-time managers. There's an hour and five-minute long video here just on that. There's also management foundations. This is again 46 minutes, so on and so forth. There's just so much here. But like I said, you can also just look up a marketing tool like Excel, or not marketing. You can look up Excel, in which case here's like a 2.5 hour long video on Excel essential training. You click on this, the video will start to play. It'll have different chapters which you can navigate to, and then as you watch more and more videos, you can then go under your learning and click I think my library, in which case here's some stuff I either clicked on or was looking at. Introduction to web design and development, but here's like, again, improve your judgment for better decision making. You see, I didn't really watch that. I was just, I think I used this as an example in a previous class. But again, social media marketing is here. Just a lot of good stuff. Unconscious bias is here, but again, technology as well. But like I said, just a lot of really good resources available to you with your library card. Again, just cslibrary.org/businesses, I believe is the direct link. But again, I showed it all to you there. I highly encourage you to use these resources that really cover, again, and then again, just to show you the last one real quick, legal resources, again, just what we saw earlier. The Business Source Premier is here because they had some of that stuff. The Legal Information Resource Center is here. The Small Business Reference Center is here. But again, the amount of databases that we offer in Carol Stream is equal to those of much larger libraries than us. We have stuff that Wheaton doesn't have. We have stuff that Schomburg doesn't have. We have stuff that Gail Borden out in Elgin doesn't have. Because again, we want you to use these and really take them to an advantage. And you may find that you'll find that nugget of information or that one skill that your competitor, like or even one of your colleagues, like maybe you're in marketing and someone else is in marketing and something that they don't know. Again, be competitive to a degree, but again, you may, again, knowledge is power. The power is really in that execution of that knowledge. But again, this is really a good starting point for you to start using business resources. Again, please examine what's here. again, if you don't have the library card, but your business is in Carol Stream, I really encourage you to get a business account. Or if you live in Carol Stream, don't worry about the business account. Just use your library card. But if you're again, if your library is not in Carol Stream and your business is maybe, and you maybe just work in Carol Stream, again, really, I know we said we have a lot that other libraries don't, but really the reference solutions ones I showed you with all the like customer lists and stuff, most libraries provide either access to reference solutions or its competitor, which is called A to Z databases. So if really you're looking to generate customers, I really encourage you to use that resource, A to Z, if your home library offers it, or reference solutions, because we offer it here. Although not a lot of libraries offer access to LinkedIn Learning, and LinkedIn Learning is that one where you cannot access it inside the library without a library card. Everything else I showed you, except for LinkedIn Learning, you can. Like I said, there's a lot of good stuff here. Please navigate to our website. Again, this is our library's website. You can either go to Learn and then click here where it says Business Resources, or again, you can go down here and click Businesses, or if you really want to, you could even go up to Info 4 and click Businesses. But again, we've also got like job seekers and career development is its own thing, but I talked about that last month. If you're interested in what resources we have for job seekers, go to our YouTube channel. But again, just a lot of good stuff here. Again, I'll pause the recording in a moment if there's any questions. But again, thank you all for coming out here, or coming out, watching this virtually. Again, if anyone's watching this from home later on, again, please, I encourage you to use these resources. And again, Book a Librarian is there if you want me to, again, reach out to you. And again, just maybe show you this again, or I'll say, hey, Omar, here's my situation. Does the library happen to have a resource that would help me with this? But again, a lot of good stuff here, and I'm going to then stop the recording. And again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat, or if you're done for the day, thank you again for coming out here. And with that, I'll say the sky's the limit, and recording is in.